Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of On Deck Baseball. I'm Austin.
I'm Kyle.
Today, we're going to be diving into some of the big topics of baseball, as in free agency, some of the new rule changes. But first, we're going to start with our very own St. Louis Cardinals and the key points to the 2023 season. Key point number one is our young guns, as in Jordan Walker, Juan Yepez, Nolan Gorman, and Brendan Donovan. We're going to start with Brendan Donovan here. Last year, had a great season, finished third in Rookie of the Year voting. Seemed like he found a way to get on base or move runners up every time he was at the plate. On to Yepez. Yepez had a great start to the season. Had a little bump in the road with some injuries and stuff. Came back big towards the end, hit a huge postseason home run for us against Phillies, which didn't end up mattering because we got swept by the Phillies.
It's unfortunate.
But then let's go to Gorman. Gorman started out great as well, but he hit a bump in the road and didn't come back from it. He's a very promising player. Hopefully he comes back big this year as a DH somehow. But on to Jordan Walker, the biggest one in my opinion. This guy has so much potential for him, offensively and defensively. But that bat, man, it is hot. And I expect to see him on the big league roster sometime into this year, maybe beginning of next year.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see Jordan Walker finally make it back up into not back up, I guess, but to make it up into the majors. Very promising. I think he's going to be a very big key point to our season, adding that bat and that glove into the lineup. Like you said, Yepez was honestly pretty hot. That's plenty of pop, and I think that's all to do to Albert's talkings, I feel like, had a lot to do with his pop, and I feel like that's going to really carry over. Very excited. Gorman kind of disappointed me, honestly. Did get to watch his first big league homer in person. That was pretty sweet.
Lucky.
But I feel like he's going to bounce back. I've been reading a lot of stuff. He's been working on a bounce back. Very excited to see what happens. I don't feel like we got to worry about Donovan. I feel like he's just going to come out firing again just like he did last year.
For sure. I was on to key point number two. We had a big problem when Molina retired, and that was to fill our catching position. Like, who are we going to fill this with? It came down to Sean Murphy or Wilson Contreras. Either way, I was happy, but I mostly wanted Wilson Contreras, and that's who we got. And I feel like he's one of the best options that can replace Molina.
I'm starting to say replacing Molina is not really there. You can't really do it. You know, that's the best defensive catcher ever. You won't change my mind. But Wilson Contreras still has an absolute cannon, still knows how to catch people stealing, and it's a really big bat in our lineup in that spot that really lacked a lot last year. I think that's a huge, huge addition.
On to number three is continued production from people like Lars Nootbaar, Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Carlson, and of course our reigning MVP, Goldie, and then Nato.
Well, should have been runner-up.
Yeah, Goldie and Nato, I don't think we're going to have to worry about. They're great always. Carlson, he's been changing some things. He needs to change. He's been bulking up a little bit. Not quite as much as Tyler O'Neill, though. Tyler O'Neill looks like a real-life Hulk.
He comes back more of a Hulk every single year.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
He's going to come back big. I hope he comes back big this year because last year the injuries just held him back too much. Lars Nootbaar struggled at the beginning, but towards the end, we all know Lars Nootbaar he's great. He just struggled at the beginning of the season, came back to his old self, and I think he's going to be key if he can produce like he did towards the end of the year.
Oh, absolutely. Newt's arm is an absolute must-have. Mm-hmm. If we can keep his bat as hot as his second half was last year, 100% feel like he could be an everyday, all-around, amazing outfielder. Dylan Carlson was really disappointing to me last year, but that's a good lefty bat. We really are switch hitting even, and we need that lefty. You know, right there with Newt. You know, if we can get them going back to backs, you know, lefties, that'd be insane for us. My boy Tyler, God love him. I hope he comes back big. I feel like this is judgment year. I feel like if he doesn't do good, we don't keep him past this year. But I have high expectations. He said he's on another level coming into 2023. So very excited to see what he does. And obviously, like you said, I don't have any concerns about Goldie or Nato. Feel like they're going right back to the top of the MVP race all day long.
Fourth and final key point we have today is the starting pitching rotation and the issues we've had there. Why don't you read off our projected rotation?
So projected rotation that I have read is Adam Wainwright, Miles Michaelis, Jack Flaherty, Jordan Montgomery, and Steven Matz. Now, of course, we have utilities. We have Dakota Hudson, Matthew Liberatore being the two big ones. So we have a little bit of flexibility if some of these guys don't quite produce. The biggest thing to me, number one, obviously Wainwright's last year. If we can get him back to a 2021 season, I feel like it's going to be a huge up for the rest of the guys because he brings so much spirit being the veteran. You know, he's the big one we all look up to. If he can do good, Michaelis had a phenomenal season. It just seemed like he never got the run support he needed to really be huge up in the race. But he had a phenomenal season. If he can come back firing, Jordan Montgomery, man, we get him a full season this year. If he does what we did in the second half last year and come back a full season, hands down, he's going to be right there at the top of the Cy Young race. I have no questions. Steven Match just needs to stay healthy, and so does Flaherty. I feel like this is judgment year for him too. You know, I have high hopes for Flaherty, but at the same time, I'm kind of nervous about it.
Yeah. Adam Wainwright, like you said, his last year, I believe he's there. He's going to try his best. As you get older, though, the arm just isn't quite there. But we know what Waino can do.
And he's never been really a fast pitcher.
Right.
He's got nasty stuff.
He's got disgusting stuff. And I think he's there, like you said, to be a mentor to these younger guys, which is what we need. Last year, it was obviously a struggle, 11-12, 3.71 ERA, and just 32 starts. But Miles Michaelis, like you said, couldn't get the run support, but he pitched great. 3.29 ERA, not half bad at all in 32 starts. Jack Flaherty, yeah, if he don't figure something out this year, he's gone. He had 8 starts last year, went 2-1 with a 4.25 ERA. And Jordan Montgomery, we get him a full season, at least probably 25 plus starts with him. So we can pretty much say another 15 wins onto us.
I feel like it.
Yeah, I mean, probably going to end up being our ace as long as he stays around.
Oh, yeah.
And Steven Matz, if he stays healthy, he's kind of average. Last year was a 5.25 ERA, but his record was 5-3 out of 10 starts. Obviously, battled some injuries and then just got replaced by a couple people. But that's it for our pitching here. Let's go to the projected, not my projected, but the MLB's projected starting lineup of the St. Louis Cardinals. They first have batting first right field, playing right field, Lars Nootbaar. Already talked about him a little bit. Hit 14 home runs last year, only batted .228. Batting second, though, they have Wilson Contreras, playing catcher, obviously, who for the Cubs batted .243, hit 22 home runs, which is pretty good for a catcher. Better than what we've seen offensively in a while from our catching position.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Third, obviously, MVP, Paul Goldschmidt playing first. Won MVP last year, hit 35 home runs with a .317 average. And then to follow him, Nolan Arenado playing third base with a .293 average and hit 30 home runs. And somehow finished third in the MVP voting.
And won a Platinum Glove.
Yeah. Batting fifth, they have Brendan Donovan at second base, who hit .281 in his rookie season with only 5 home runs. But like I said earlier, he finds a way to move runners up and get on base somehow. He's not a power hitter, but he moves the runners and gets himself one. Batting sixth will be Tyler O'Neill in left field, who's right now battling for center field or left field. We'll see. I think he's going to be in left, so does MLB. 228 last year, obviously had some injuries, obviously. I mean, 14 home runs still with those injuries. Pretty good. And then Dylan Carlson, who had a rough year, they have him batting seventh, playing right field. And he hit .236 last year with 8 home runs. Batting eighth, they have DH as either Gorman or Juan Yepez. Gorman, .226 with 14 home runs. Home runs were pretty decent for a rookie. Average was not good. Juan Yepez, .253 average, though, with 12 home runs. I'd much rather see Yepez have the starting spot at DH. Batting ninth, they have shortstop Tommy Edman. Kind of odd that they have him at 9, but I kind of understand having someone who can get on base at 9 to then get to the top of the lineup. But Tommy Edman batting .265 last year with 13 home runs.
I'll just touch on my actual projected lineup's a little bit different. I obviously have Tommy Edman batting first. I feel like that speed and that good contact swing to get on base, good spark plug, reminds me kind of like a David Eckstein at leadoff. Right field, and again, He's good at getting on. If we can keep that bat red hot with his kind of speed, I think that's going to be key at the top to get on. For, of course, our big boys, 3 and 4, Goldie and Nato, reigning MVP candidates and MVP. Batting fifth is where I have Wilson. I feel like, obviously, that's, of course, a big bat filled. Batting sixth, Tyler. I agree also. I think left field. And for Tyler, the cannon is just insane on Carlson. I feel like we need that. Although the range and speed is in the favor of Tyler and that glove.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, obviously, if he stays healthy, back to Gold Glove standards, no questions asked. But batting seventh is where I have Brendan Donovan playing second base. Batting eighth, Carlson in center. And then I have DH, either, of course, being Gorman, Yepes, or Jordan Walker, who I have high hopes for. I have them batting ninth just for the simple fact of that's big pop at the end of the lineup. Any of these guys in front of him, Donovan's good at getting on base. If Tyler can get on base and stay healthy, get his batting average back up this year, I feel like that big power at DH, that's going to be key. So I like to round them out with somebody big like that.
Yeah, I think the DH rule coming to NL has been a huge thing for us. At first,
it's
I wasn't
been
sure
amazing.
about it because I just love watching.
Unless
pitchers
you're
hit.
Adam Wainwright
Right.
at the plate,
mean,
other than that.
Yeah, but I'm happy we got it. But I'm gonna go with my projected starting lineup. We got a few differences, not too much. Tommy Edman leading off for me as well. Wilson Contreras is my second hitter, mainly just because that's where Cubs had him. That's somewhere up there with him, 1 to 3. I can't remember exactly where they had him, but I just feel like we might copy the Cubs in a way. Plus, Wilson
I can
Contreras
see
can hit, yeah.
Yeah.
Third and fourth, Paul Goldschmidt, then Nato, obviously. My 5 hitter is Brendan Donovan. I feel like the 5 holes where we have struggled last year, and I think Brendan Donovan will be a huge asset to that. Batting sixth, I have O'Neill playing left field. Like we said, if he comes back, he'll be
That's
probably
going to
up
be
there.
a huge bat if he gets back to his old standards of 21.
Yeah. Hit another guy hitting 30-plus home runs. That'd be great for our lineup. Batting seventh, I got Lars Nootbaar playing right field. Eighth, I have our DH. What I think will start is Juan Yepes as our DH. He may keep the spot all season, may not. Like you said, Walker, if he comes up, he's either going to be taking turns with O'Neill or be taking the DH spot, I think.
I feel like he can honestly kind of take some of Dylan Carlson too. If Tyler gets hot and Carlson doesn't, I feel like Carlson's going to set a lot of bench this year with the young guns we have for outfield.
Oh yeah, he's great defensively and offensively. Jordan Walker.
Oh yeah.
Batting ninth, I have Dylan Carlson playing center field. He can be a great bat if he changes up some things from last year. He can be a great bat. So I have him batting ninth.
Another point really quick I want to point out with the lineup, where Paul DeYoung stands in this, because we haven't talked a bit about him. But I was honestly really rooting for getting rid of him over the offseason. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
there was
me
just
too.
no production. Sent him to the minors. He started stepping up. Bring him back up. He hits like 2 home runs, and then he's done.
And then done.
And that's just all we got. So obviously Tommy's glove is superior to anybody. So I don't really feel him taking Tommy's spot at shortstop, especially with the combined batting average on base, the speed, everything's just there in the line of Tommy versus DeYoung. Now, I did watch a video the other day. He was hitting off Matthew Liberatore in live pitching, and like first pitch, cranked it. And he did have a change. He's normally kind of up more stanced out right. This time he was kind of laid back, actually on his shoulder kind of deal. And I don't know, his swing looked really good. If he can really change up his stance like that, get that bat through the zone quicker and everything, I feel like he could really be a big asset, especially as a bench player, another utility we can go to, give Tommy the day off or something, Donovan the day off. But he's going to have a lot of proving, because I feel like he's another one of those guys that if he just doesn't do good this year, I don't see him in a Cardinal uniform next year by any means.
The batting stance reminds me of watching anything on Manny Machado. Manny Machado has always been a really good hitter.
Oh, yeah.
But he has improved so much. He used to have that up, And this past year, I believe it was, he's changed to being laid back on the shoulder, and it's changed something for him. So hopefully it goes on to.
I'm really hoping so, because the more depth we have to this lineup to where we're just a threat no matter what is going to be insane if we can have it.
No matter who we put in.
For sure.
Let's go on to a few rule changes. I did add one from what we've talked about. We'll get on to that. But we're going to start out with bigger bases this year, going from 15 by 15 to 18 by 18. I don't really get it, to be honest, why that matters too much. I mean, I know safety, especially for first basemen, but most first basemen, you've been on the 15 by 15 bags for all your life.
I mean, I get it. You know, not everybody's Albert Pujols at first base. I mean, but
you can't be the GOAT.
Yeah, no kidding. My favorite rule change: shift banning.
For sure.
I am absolutely so excited about banning the shift. And the one thing that came to my mind as soon as I heard it was, I wanted Matt Carpenter gone so bad, and now I wish to the Lord we could have him back.
Now we want him
Matt
back.
Carpenter is going to be our surprise MVP candidate
He
next
is,
year,
for
just
sure.
because there's no shift to stop him. Let's just be honest right now.
That guy hit him to the shift more than
Anybody I've
probably
ever seen.
anybody. It's just so unlucky.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
because
I agree.
he'd never win opposite field,
Yeah.
like ever.
Unless
But
he,
this year he's going to kill it.
yeah, unless he occasionally bunted down the line, which, like I've said before,
If
I
he
don't
can bring
understand
his
why you just
hitting to
don't
where
do
he
that.
in New York
Oh yeah,
and bring that in with this shift ban, he's going to be unstoppable.
he's gonna be.
And now we
signing-
got to face him in the National League at some point because
San
he's with the
Diego.
Padres now.
He's gonna be signing a big contract one day now that this shift.
Oh,
is
yeah.
gone. He's
Easy.
gonna be a 250+
Easy money.
million dollar contract. Anyways, if you don't know what the shift band is, you used to be able to put your any fielder, wherever you wanted on the field. Now they have to be on the dirt, and you have to have two people on the left side of second base bag and two people on the right side of second base bag. You can't move everybody to one spot anymore.
Now, you can still have
So-
your shortstop a lot closer to the center,
Yeah.
but he can't cross over, which is still big because, I mean, hitting over to that side, he's not going to be able to get to it anyways.
Yeah.
So it's still a pretty big deal in all honesty.
It's better to hit against two infielders instead of four.
Or 8
Yeah.
if you just put them all on
Put
the
'em
one
all
side.
there.
Yeah.
Last one I got is the pitch clock. I just thought about it today, so I added it
I
in.
completely forgot about
So
the pitch
the
clock.
rules of the pitch clock: you get 15 seconds with bases empty, 20 seconds with runners on. You must begin your pitching motion before the clock runs out, or that will be an automatic ball called. For the batters, though, they have to be in the box when the clock hits 8 seconds, or it's an automatic strike, which we already seen today. Manny Machado stepped in the box with 7 seconds on the clock and got an automatic strike because he wasn't in by 8 seconds. I mean, for me, I pitched a lot in high school and before, and the worst thing you can do to a pitcher is rush a pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be bombs hit this year because pitchers are just going to feel rushed.
Literally, the only thing I can think of that would be anywhere near good about that rule is the fact that the game might be sped up enough to where we don't make it home till 12 o'clock going to church next morning.
Yeah,
That's about
true,
it.
True.
That's about it.
Let's move on to free agency now.
Yes.
I'll start off with one. We're not going to go through all of them. We've obviously missed a lot starting the podcast this late in the season. We're going to catch up a little bit. One I have is Dansby Swanson to the Cubs for 7 years, $177 million.
Dansby, you'd look a lot better in this uniform
Yeah,
than that uniform.
Yeah,
Just
it
saying.
would
Just
look
saying.
great.
Our
at
colors are better.
shortstop. Yeah, we could have Donovan as our DH and Tommy as our second baseman.
And we wouldn't have had to worry about nothing.
Yeah, but he went to the Cubs. Cubs have made quite a few moves this year, but I don't really feel like they've gotten much better. Their shortstop position obviously gets a little better, but I don't think they've got anywhere too much better this year.
Not really.
From their signings.
My biggest surprise is Aaron Judge. You get booed in the off season or the postseason by your so-called fantastic fans,
Yeah,
and then you still decide to sign with them.
there's no way.
At that point, even though you wouldn't have got a ring for sure, I still would have rather went to San Francisco.
Absolutely.
So obviously, accordingly, I liked the Yankees too, alongside the Cardinals. But even me, if I was in that shoes, living my childhood dream, in pinstripes
Right.
at Yankee Stadium, I don't think I would have done it. I'd have been like, forget you guys.
Yeah, you boo
I mean,
me.
come on.
After having as big of a season as he
I
had?
break the AL home run record in a single season, and you're going to boo me because I had a bad postseason.
Yeah,
Like the whole rest of the team didn't.
yeah.
They struck out. They got how many outs consecutively?
Um,
Like they got shut out every game.
I don't even remember.
It was awful.
I mean, they
Most
were awful.
pathetic postseason appearance I've ever seen.
For one of the best regular
And he's the
season
only
teams.
one that got booed.
Yeah,
The dude wins MVP, breaks records, all this stuff, and you boo him because your whole team was trash in the postseason.
he single-handedly won them some regular season.
Literally
games.
everything, basically.
Besides
Yeah.
pitching, obviously, because he doesn't pitch.
You know,
But his offense was sometimes the only offense.
you know they had other home runs and stuff, but the batting average, none of them were close to Judge.
No.
He literally was their offense,
Yeah.
pretty much all the way around.
Let's get on to. I'll go to the Dodgers here. Two of their signing. Clayton Kershaw stays with them for 1 year, $20 million. Guy who gets older and everybody thinks is just gonna tank, and he doesn't. I mean, he somehow stays amazing. Like Clayton Kershaw is one of the greatest pitchers in our time.
Pretty much, yes, I agree.
They also signed Noah Syndergaard to help that rotation out. Only signed him for 1 year, $13 million, but that's going to help him out this year.
But look at their rotation though. You know, you're going to have Kershaw, Syndergaard, Walker Buehler, Julio Urias. I can't think of their fifth one either, but he's good too.
Yeah. Oh, Dustin May will probably be in there. I don't
Yeah,
know if
yeah.
he'd be bullpen or starter, but
You know, I mean, they've got a pitching staff out of this absolute world.
yeah. And then their offense is great.
Now, granted, they did lose some
lost-
offense
yeah,
this
lost
year.
Trey Turner.
You know, they lost Trey Turner, they lost Justin Turner. You know, now they don't have any Turners.
Yeah. Hey, sign me up.
But I still feel like they're going to be a big team. They always
Yeah,
are.
they always are.
It doesn't matter who they get rid of or who they get. They're always just right there.
They're the
They- it-
only AL team, LA team that's good.
Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, we got plenty of room for that love in
Absolutely.
St. Louis
I'll
for
get
you
rid
guys.
of
Let me tell
any-
you something.
Any outfielder for Mike Trout. Any infielder except Nato. Because,
Goldie.
Yeah, Nato and Goldie.
They're like literally
They're
the only
staying.
two I wouldn't get rid of.
Yeah.
And Wilson
Yeah.
to get either one of them on
I'll take
on
it.
our team.
Yeah. It's just,
That'd
come
be
on.
because Shohei's a big boost in both ways.
Absolutely.
Like
Offense.
he's got it
pitching.
all.
He can also play a little bit of outfield. If we
Now,
need him.
granted, I wouldn't be extremely thrilled because he'd take the DH spot from our young guys.
True.
That
But it might work out at the same time.
oh, it might work out too, but I'd feel bad.
But I like to see the young
I love
guys
our
come
young
up.
guys. You know, we're probably the youngest team averaged, I think, in baseball.
Us, I'd say us and Braves are right there.
I mean, we have nothing but young guys.
Yeah.
I don't think, other than Waino and Wilson, I don't think we have a guy over 30. Half of them are younger than me.
Yeah. It's-
You know,
Makes
Tyler's
us
my
really great.
age, Tommy's my age. Gorman and Yepez are both like at least 3
I
or
think
4
Yepez
years
is
younger
only
than me.
25.
Oh, I think
24,
he's only like
25.
22,
Yeah.
22,
Might-
23.
might
Gorman's
be.
right there with him.
Yeah. I know Gorman's
You know,
very
we
young.
got such a young team, and I love the young talent. It gives us promise for years to come, as long as they can step up.
And we
again.
got Mason Wynn. That's a big one.
Oh yeah, I
Coming
forgot
up, the
about him.
shortstop.
Man, that's going to
Yeah,
be a
forgot about that.
big asset too coming up
I don't know if he'll make it quite this year, but he'll be up within the next coming years for sure.
for sure. Okay, last but not least, the absolute biggest display of ruining credibility to players. The top 100 players were released recently from MLB, and I couldn't be more disgusted. I am so heated about this topic. NL MVP.
I'm pull it up while you're talking.
NL
so we know.
MVP, number 7. But yet the AL MVP is number 2. Shohei's number 1, whose batting average wasn't as impressive this year. Yeah, he had the home runs and he pitched good, but he wasn't as impressive to me last year as he was the previous year when he didn't win. When he didn't win the MVP or nothing. I don't
That's
get
not
it.
even this year.
I don't get it. Manny Machado, number 5, over Goldie and Nato, 6 and 7.
So
Mookie Betts.
I'm not gonna lie, I looked more into this, and I'm still disappointed in it. Don't get me wrong. But from watching MLB Network last night, what I kind of went off of was last year's season. What MLB is going off of is that last year's season plus a lot. Don't get me wrong, a lot of it I still don't like. Machado still should not be above Goldie or Nato.
No way. No chance.
I did look at Shohei Ohtani's stats today, and we're wrong. His stats are insane.
Oh.
He just started out terribly. Not gonna lie. Last year's stats.
Well,
Mike Trout was still better than him though. So Mike Trout's at third. Ohtani's at 1. They need to switch that and put Ohtani at either 2 or 3.
and then
Judge
Goldie and
deserves
Nato
third.
need to go above Mookie Betts for sure.
Goldie, it should be Trout, Judge, Ohtani, in my opinion. Goldie, Nato.
And another big
you
thing
know.
I feel like is defense should play a lot of part of this too.
Oh, for sure.
And Nato has 6 platinum gloves
Yeah.
and has dominated the third base race for how long now?
I mean, he's
He's
not
still
got a
lower
Gold
than
Glove.
Manny Machado.
Yeah, he's got a Gold Glove every year he's played.
He's got a platinum glove 6 of his years,
Yeah,
and Machado has none of it.
yeah, Machado
I think he has a couple AL Gold Gloves from when he played with Baltimore.
and
I just don't get it.
on MLB Network last night, Machado even talked about that because they interviewed him after he got announced at the whatever spot it was, 4, was it 4?
5.
5. Yeah, after the 5th spot, and he was talking about how Nato and him kind of have a friendly rivalry defensively. Pretty much kind of admitted to Nato being above him.
I mean, it's obvious.
And Nato's
Anybody
right
with
there,
eyes can see it.
and he's better than defensively.
You know, when
he's at
MLB
least as good offensively.
When MLB posted the top 10, did you read the comments? It was just lit up.
Oh,
Like, how is Goldie, how is Nato that
Yeah.
far down, and yada, yada, yada. And
Goldie
just-
and Nato were 2 of the
everybody
biggest
was
ones.
all over the fact that Goldie and Nato weren't top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. I don't feel like Mookie Betts should have been higher than them.
No, absolutely.
I don't
not.
agree at all.
Mookie Betts is a great player.
Oh, he is. Don't
But
get me
he's
wrong.
not
I
better
love
than
Mookie
them.
Betts. He's explosive. He's got a lot of great things for him, but he should not have been higher than Nato and Goldie.
No, absolutely not. I mean,
Top 10, yes. I'll give him
oh,
top
yeah,
10.
I'll give him
easy.
top 10 all
But he
day,
should
yeah.
not have been number 4.
No.
Should not have
That's-
happened.
They kind of make it a popularity contest.
I feel like
and-
it is.
That's why Ohtani's at 1, which Ohtani top 3 easily.
But if
like
it's
I said.
popularity, they should have gave it to Pujols number 1 because Pujols, looked at a graph. The most searched player and most bought merchandise player in each state, Pujols dominated. Like, I mean, states from each coast, north, south, you name it. He dominated like 60 or 70% of the states was Albert Pujols.
Speaking
Who
of
was the one?
Pujols, he's obviously my favorite player. I got a wall dedicated to him. But fun fact on this top 100 thing, in 2011 is when they first started doing the top 100 players of MLB, and the first ever number 1 player was that guy right there, Albert Pujols.
Same year we won
and
the
won
championship.
championship. Yeah,
Well deserving.
yeah,
Well
very
deserving.
much.
So, well, I think I'm done. I've done enough
yeah.
ranting.
For sure.
Go cry in the corner now because Goldie didn't make it higher.
Maybe next year though.
Maybe once we
they'll
get that back-to-back MVP.
they'll get something right. Maybe.
We'll get that back-to-back MVP, and then who's the boss now?
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight,
Absolutely,
though.
absolutely.
It's been a blast. We can't wait to do it again. We're going to do this every week if possible. We're going to try this every weekend, get one posted either Friday or Saturday. Thank you for joining. Tune in next time to find out what's on deck.
See you later.